cover theme for next month, getting started?
Yeah, the theme next month is, what is it? Lions, tiger, bear, oh my. Oh no, that's
Close.
angles, arcs, and something. I don't know. I
Circles.
Angles, arcs,
I
and
I
circles.
failed geometry, so
You got a lot of bear pictures.
yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, and it's already open for submissions. So early bird gets the worm, and yeah, and I'll be looking for judges for next month critique. So
You want to explain what the incentive is?
yes, so each time you judge, your name gets thrown in the hat, and at the end of the year, kind of Christmas party we have, holiday party, we draw for $100 gift card from Precision Camera. So if you judge 3 times in the year, your name gets thrown in there 3 times, and your chances just go up. Last year I won it, and this year I won't because I'm running it. So
Yeah. And there's quite a lot of material about judging, explanations. Ed has made a page on the website, got a lot of information on judging. And you want to explain any more about the judging in terms of what we'll see tonight and the points, or
yeah,
points don't
tonight,
matter?
yeah, tonight. Unfortunately, I had a glitch, some little check mark that didn't get checked for People's Choice Awards. So intermediate and basic were all lumped together for People's Choice. But for critiquing and judging, that's still separate. So there will be awards in each class, basic, intermediate, and advanced. So yeah, we tried to get it fixed, but nobody at whoever runs the website, they answered me once and never answered again. So that
Well,
was
the
it.
advanced class is judged by a
Yes, the advanced
different
class is
person.
judged outside the club by the PSA. So in the
So if you
past, we
volunteer,
were
you'll
just
be
getting,
doing.
yeah. In the past, we were just having, it was a lot for our judges. The meetings would go on for almost 4 hours to get through all the judging. So, we decided to go with the PSA, and they'll be the ones that judge the advanced, and then the basic and intermediate are done within the club. And tonight we have Dennis is one.
Hello.
The other one is Judy. Oh, I mean Patrick. And one of our newcomers stepped up, Efrat. She will be one of our judges tonight.
Wow.
So when we start this, just when we get to one of the images where you're actually going to verbal critique, just say, hey, that's mine. And I'll stop, and you could do your verbal critique on the image.
Every image gets a written critique from a judge.
Yeah,
correct?
every image gets a written critique, but for time, because of time constraints, we just divide it up, 3 per judge per category. So basic should go pretty quick because there's only 4 images in that. There's 26 in the intermediate. So hopefully we'll get some good critiques out of this.
And that's how we all learn.
Yes.
And hopefully for after you recognize the winning images or the top images, if the person is here and they want to make a comment or tell us a little background on the picture, I think a lot of us like to hear that too.
So I will get this party started. Let me share my screen. And All right. Are you seeing it?
Yep.
All right. So what we'll do is this is our basic class. So we'll just do a quick scan through the images. And then we'll go to critique. First one. Yeah. Nature's watercolors. Shovel beak ducks. Poppies in the spring. And Mayfield peacock portrait. Ah, I have them on my front lawn. So we'll go start back at. And if it's one of your images, judges, just say, hey, that's mine, and go ahead and give your critique. Nature's watercolors. Well,
Okay, that is mine. And yes, I changed the name on my thing, so I'm now Pat. So
oh, okay.
I can speak properly, you know. Okay, so my apologies for looking away from the, well, here, let's just do it this way. The concept of nature's watercolors is wonderful. The various shades of blue and violet make the title work well. Playing on the water droplets in the title is also excellent. My eye wandered through the image, and it's missing because there's too many focal points. There's basically, so there's focused flowers on either side work rather well, but the defocused center was a little bit distracting. So that's what I came up with on that one. I hope that works for the maker of the image.
Okay. Next, shovel beak ducks.
All right, that's mine. I've been a member of this club for about 3 years now, just before COVID started, and that kind of changed the whole dynamics of the meetings, but the Zoom meetings are working out really good. You guys work really hard to make this technology work great. I've learned a lot from participating in these contests and taking the judges' feedback, and actually I take the feedback and go incorporate it into my pictures, and then I compare whether I like the new picture versus my original picture, and it's a wash. Sometimes I like my picture better, sometimes I like the judges' input better, you know, so it's good feedback, but it's just opinion, so take my opinion that way. This picture looks like it came from Port Aransas. I spend a lot of time down there at the birding center, and there's lots of shovel-beak ducks there, and this looks like they're sitting on the shore. I like the picture. It's got great color, and most of the ducks are in focus, but there is a little problem with the focus on the main male duck there. I think if you had a little better separation between the birds, that would help clear that focus area on the beak where it looks a little out of focus. And then the other thing I would do is I would crop out the bird on the right-hand side of the picture, because he doesn't really add much value to it, and he's a little bit out of focus, and maybe raise the bottom up just a little bit to crop the picture a little bit tighter to have a much more focused picture on the three ducks.
Okay. Poppies in the spring.
Yeah, this one's mine. So it's a very nice spring photo. It's a good exposure. The poppy flowers are well framed and the foreground is interesting. And I noticed a slight distraction in the background, but it doesn't really take a lot from the photo. And in my opinion, to elevate the scene, I would look for insect activity or movement, something to make it a little bit more interesting. But all in all, it's a really nice photo.
Right. Last one. Mayfield peacock portrait.
Very interesting angle of view. I seldom see this kind of an angle, especially on a bird. I mean, as in the one that's on the ground. It's very interesting. I had a hard time actually coming up with some things that were that I could kind of do with this. The framing with the tree kind of works, but then you've got this branch that sticks out at the top. Looks like it's about 1 or 2 inches in diameter, and it just kind of comes out and goes up. The bird itself is, hold on, I'm trying to do something here. Should stop playing. Okay. I don't think I want to, I don't want to mess with that bird. That he or she looks a little angry. Yeah, but it's an interesting photograph. And I'm not sure exactly what I would have done to improve it. So focal point is a little bit further down on the body than I would have tried to have liked to have seen, but not always do we get a chance to get the perfect focal point. So I applaud the maker for getting down on the ground and getting this picture, or at least putting the camera down on the ground. So there you go.
Okay. All right. So let's see what the judges have to say. Maybe. Or maybe not. Gotta love the not responding.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I was commenting as a judge. I'm sorry. That was not my photo, but my critique. I apologize.
Oh, you're supposed to comment as the judge on somebody else's. No problem.
Okay.
All right.
I'm trying to figure out how the two that I ended up getting, well, one of them's in my grouping that I'm not sure how it's going to get judged. So.
All right. The image competition manager crashed.
Oh, no.
Let's get this back up.
I know a computer guy.
And all right, judge's choice. All right, do we see my screen again?
Yes, we do.
All right. So I believe, if I remember correctly, there was a tie for first place. So Dennis Eisenberg, first place, Poppies in the Spring. Dennis, I don't think he's on. And first place, Clay Lieben, Mayfield Peacock Portrait. Yay, Clay. So tell us about this angry bird.
Right. Okay. Well, as some of you know, and were there, we went as a group to Mayfield Park, where the peacock birds are. And we got there early, and they were all on the ground for a little while, and then they went up on the trees. So the point of view that Patrick mentioned is absolutely right. This was taken with my 100 to 400 telephoto. I think it might have been fully extended, and not calling, but it was, and then I had to crop and kind of work it and do some other things to try to enhance the blue, the sky mostly. And again, he was way up in the top. I didn't know peacocks could fly like that. They were all, the 2 males and the 4 female peacocks were all up in these really tall branches until later they came down. And some pictures, I don't think I never saw one of them fans put their tails out like you want them to do. But this is the best I could do in terms of getting an angle through the limbs up from the ground with the telephoto lens.
Okay. All right, we'll go on to the intermediate. Come on. Oh man, where'd it go? All right, I'm having technical difficulties here. Please stand by.
Would any of the judges like to talk about any of their points that they particularly like to look for in judging, or their approach to separate what you learned from judging this round or the intermediate round?
So
Any comments more?
this round, I was focusing more on a lot of cropping, because I've learned over the years that a small change to a cropping of a picture can make a big difference in the way the picture comes off and looks, and just changes the whole dynamics of the field when you remove some of the distractions and all that. So a lot of my comments tonight are on cropping of pictures and how I would manage that a little bit.
I've kind of changed how the first time I did some of the judging, I think it was last year, I was very much into, you could use this technique or you could use that technique as the maker. You could go in and try various things in post-processing. And I've learned over the year or so that not everybody has the same tools, and I'm trying to take a better or different look at it from what the maker was trying to do. The technical issues, that's in the scoring, the kind of the numbers that go along there, especially in the technical issues. So
I'm having some bad technical difficulties. This Visual Pursuits competition manager will not open. I'm going to need to reboot.
Oh dear.
Stephen, if you like,
Vote, Stephen, and we'll continue the conversation here.
Okay.
Yeah, we can have a conversation.
I was going to ask Dennis, you said cropping, but then you mentioned what was on the edge of the border of the image, distractions.
Right.
Is that what you're after in cropping, or the aspect ratio or placement of the subject?
Well, a number of things, but I think it's the placement of the subject and whether or not the items that are on the border line or a blurry area that's distracting, does it really add to the picture, the quality of the picture? Or if I removed it, would anybody really notice it or care? And I've just found that over the years that when I've done that, I've gone back and looked at some of my older pictures and recropped them or changed the aspect ratios a little bit. And it's like, wow, that changed the whole dynamics of the picture completely.
I totally agree with you on that one. I tend to go back to old photos of mine and just change the ratio a little bit, and they do make like a different photo completely.
Yeah, yeah.
And something that I noticed that we tend, as maybe as humans in general, we tend to place our subjects like right in the middle, and sometimes it takes away a little bit from the photo. It looks, and I think I commented on one of the photos that It's just the placement, because it's in the middle, it just looks too perfect. So we want to, I mean, I personally like to place things on different sides, just to make it a little more interesting, maybe.
There are numerous suggestions to judges how to look at pictures. The one that we have on the website talks about 10 elements of a quality image. Did any of you, especially when you look at the basic category versus the intermediate versus the advanced, do any of you feel like you emphasize different things when you get to the intermediate and advanced, as opposed to, say, focus for the basic, and you expect the advanced group not to have technical issues with, you know, they've taken a difficult picture, like some of the nighttime pictures, the astrophotography, you know, that person really sweated to get that technical excellence, you know, the landscapes. And so if there's other people in the group that, as well as the judges, that would like to say what they think should be the difference between an intermediate and a judging and an intermediate or an advanced basic, anything you might want to say?
Like, I'll try to address something of that. I mean, there's a certain level of we want to have everybody aspire to or exceed. Again, not everybody has the ability to, or the equipment, the software, what have you, to achieve some of it. Others are still learning the techniques that can be used. So it makes it difficult to say what is and isn't a good image. I mean,
yeah, there's some photographers can go do a whole lot of post-processing and turn a dull lighting into a fantastic image with sunset, sky replacement, etc. We know.
Yeah, and you know, we've got a few of those that have been submitted. Jim McDaniel, your video is going crazy, by the way.
I see that, but
did you turn the camera around on the screen? You know?
no.
It just
Let's
looks
see if
like
I can.
doing a mirror image.
So what is doing? Let's see what if I can figure something out.
Yeah, but I think in kind of in the vein of what Gary Hook had mentioned last month when we were doing critiques, and it was very evident that the PPA professional had not paid any attention to even the topic that was presented.
The theme.
Yeah, and so whatever the topic was, they were like, well, it doesn't meet the topic. Well, it was something, it wasn't open like this, but it was, it's kind of hard to miss the point. And the PPA photographer was just like having a field day, going after all kinds of things and then coming up with numbers that didn't make any sense. They were critiquing it and giving it a really rough critique and still gave it a 95%. And it's like, wait a minute, so I think the hardest part of being a judge is to try to be fair without, going too much overboard. By the way, my namesake on the screen a few minutes ago is calling me, so I'm going to go mute. So
Dinner. Help.
By the way, that was a PSA judge, not a PPA judge.
Yeah.
PPA gets enough bad raps. Ed posted after Bree Thatcher did a presentation to us, the 12 elements of a merit print from PPA. And PPA images are judged individually, just at the quality of a single image. And here we're rank ordering images. So
Hmm.
we may look at impact and technical excellence and style and composition, but really the objective of the judge is to get a rank order for at least the awarded images, get that correct. But I think when I judge, the first thing I always look at is what's the impact of the image? First of all, does it just grab my attention? Can I stay focused on it? And then the other bits of it come into play. I was just watching a YouTube piece today, and it was, what are the composition rules? And you should learn them and understand when and how to break them. And why do the rules exist? And I think everybody's heard of rule of thirds. But why a rule of thirds? And why would you break it? One, for instance, bird photography was, you would want to give the bird a place to go. So you would want space in front of the bird in the direction posted. You want to be in on the third, because if you're off even further to offset, you're infringing on the subject with the edge of the frame. And I think several in the club I've heard talk about perimeter patrol, where they go around the edge of their image and look for distracting things. A piece of a limb, a few twigs in the snow. Those can be removed and improve the image.
And then we have some photographers that, you know, if they could tell us their artistic intent, they have highly abstract pictures. We have some in the intermediate category with, you know, a large white space in the picture with just a few branches or a few grass seedlings, and they're looking for something geometric already in the, so it challenges a judge to think about what the intent of the photographer was.
We have a little time. Can you sort of explain how the judging works with the judges? Are you guys talking together when you're judging, or are you assigned sort of ones to do? I've never
Good
judged
question.
here, and I just was curious how that worked.
Good question. Who wants to take a crack at that?
Well, we're all working independently. I'm given a third of the contest or photos to judge, and I develop the critique for them, but I have to give a rating and a ranking for all of the photos. And so then someone takes the three judges' rankings and merges them together and sums them up, but I don't know the details on that aspect of it.
So,
I think
yeah,
only Stephen and Mark know how to use the tool that does that, but all
Yeah,
of
I can explain it too, if you like. Basically, it's set up so that all the judges, at least for basic and intermediate, are independent. But like you say, they each have to give a rating to each photo. The visual pursuits software is what controls the competition. And when all the judges have indicated that they're done judging, the visual pursuits averages the scores or whatever and figures out who the winners are. The actual winners are assigned by the coordinator, who in this case is Stephen. So he looks at the scores at the end and figures out who the winners are. So there can be ties like there were in basic today. And then on the advanced level, those photos are sent to PSA. And there's only one judge there, so that judge controls everything.
Hey,
How
I'm
do you-
back.
Okay.
Maybe.
I was just
Yay.
gonna give an update and say you're still working on it.
But to give you a little more information, Ty, there is a guide on the website for the judges to go by, and the scoring is not just random scores. We're looking at 1, 2, 3, 6 different categories for scores: composition, creativity. Let's see, creativity and originality, story, impact. I've kind of distilled these last ones down because they fit well in my spreadsheet. Exposure, depth of field, so you kind of get the now you get into the technical side of it, and then color and light, and how you utilize those in your image. And
How do you decide which ones someone's going to talk about during this meeting?
Oh, they're assigned to us. As Dennis mentioned, we're assigned. So out of the, what was it, 30 images, we each got 10 images that we had to not only score, we had to score all 30 images, but we only had to write up a comment on the 10 that we were assigned.
And then there are a few that are actually talked about during the meeting.
Three out of those 10 will be talked about from each judge.
And how did they decide that? I'm just trying to understand the whole thing.
The judge gets to decide which ones he wants to choose.
Okay, I just want to figure it out, so if
Sure.
I can maybe try to volunteer judging sometime.
Sure.
Oh,
Yeah, I
jump
think-
in, come on.
All right. Y'all see my screen again?
Yep.
All right. Let's, we'll do a quick scan through the images. All 26 of them. Hopefully everything goes okay. Yep. Mystery of the Sands. Nature Lover. Lamppost. The Wizard. Thomas Competition. Hawk on the Fence. Look out, kitty. Verde, Verde, Verde. Mayfield Park Beauty. Warehouse Window Colors and Reflections. This bud's for you.
It's running a little bit slow.
Oh, okay. I'll let it catch up.
All right.
Can I go home now? Sunset in Duck, North Carolina. Small World Gone Wild. Ruffled Feathers. The Blue and the Bug. Lava Lights. Edge of the Pasture. On the Frozen Lake. Pink Flamingo Blast Off. Bringing Home the Gizzard Shad. Trillium. McKittrick Canyon. Peekaboo. The Point of No Return. Monarch on Milkweed. Berry Springs, January of 2023. All right. All right, so when it's one of your images, just shout it out. Mystery of the Sands.
So we're picking the 3 that we want to talk about. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
Nature Lover.
All right, this is mine.
Okay.
I think this is a really nice picture. I love the dual colors there. You know, it's almost just like a 2 colors. You really draws your attention in to the focus on the eye of the owl and what he's looking at there in the snow. And there's nothing wrong with this picture that I can really see, other than there's some technical issues that distract me a little bit. I don't know whether the spots on the screen are snowflakes falling or whether there's dirt on the screen of the camera or the image or something like that. So that's one level of distraction. The other level of distraction is some of the grass sticking out of the snow that blurs the feathers and the one on the left side. So you could crop that a little bit tighter, or maybe clone those out to get rid of the one on the left side and possibly that dark place in the snow behind the owl. But other than that, this is just a wonderful picture, very soft, but the focus is very good and it draws your attention in. So it's a wonderful shot.
Lamppost. Okay. The Wizard. Thomas Competition. Hawk on the Fence. Look out, Kitty.
This one's mine.
Okay.
It's a really nice composition. The colors are really good. I like the various shades of green. The object is well lit, and you can tell that it's really carefully composed. Some comments that I have is that the hawk looks like, so the title of the photo is "Look Out, Kitty," but I didn't really feel like the hawk is aiming towards the kitty, like trying to catch it. He just looks like, he or she, I don't know, looks a little, I don't really know how to explain it, but there's missing some action in there. And another thing that well, actually, that's it. That's all I wanted to say. I think the right eye is a little underexposed. I would have changed that a little bit, but other than that, it's a nice photo.
Okay. Verde, Verde, Verde.
Anybody watch Ted Lasso?
That was my thought. What was this one? Oh, Mayfield Park Beauty. Warehouse Window Colors and Reflections. Wow, tough crowd. This bud's for you.
Okay, that one's mine. When I saw this, I thought it was a really truly magnificent composition. Our feathery friend here is just focused on and the camera. The maker of this did an excellent job of getting everything that should be in focus in focus. We know exactly which one of the items on the, whatever we want to call this, on the tree limb that the friend, our feathered friend, is going to plunder. It's just so obvious. It's wonderful. The only thing that I kind of got was, I'm intrigued as to how the bird's chest is so well illuminated as underneath as so is the back. So if the maker is here, when you get a chance later on, maybe you can explain how you got such fantastic underlighting. So otherwise, I think it's a wonderful image. Wonderful.
It's a cedar waxwing, by the way.
Can I go home now?
I'm not going to really make a lot of comment, but this is one of the pictures I chose, and I struggled with it for a while, trying to figure out, well, can I go home now? And later on, my thought was maybe the person was treating these window things as bars on a prison. And that was his strategy. And the underexposure a little bit was maybe the dark side of that being in prison. But that was just a side comment on this picture. But anyway.
Sunset in Duck, North Carolina.
This one's mine. I think it's a really nicely composed photo. That there's a good use of colors, the framing, the timing is absolutely right. The horizon is level, and we can actually see, I don't know if you can see, but to the left of the pier, you can see like a little cloud, which maybe looks like an elephant or a lion. So it kind of draws your eyes into that. So in my opinion, the bottom part and also the pier itself is a little underexposed. I don't know if it was done on purpose, maybe. I personally really like underexposed photos, but I don't know if everyone likes them. And also the edge of the pier, we have some people there, but they're so tiny, and because they're like the same shade, you don't really see the action. It's hard to differentiate between the pier and the people. But I really like the photo. I think it's really good.
Small world gone wild. Ruffled feathers. The blue and the bug. Lava lights.
Stephen, we have some delay again. We can't see the lava lights.
All right, this one is mine. Edge of the pasture. Oh, never mind.
Oh, yep.
Okay.
Now go.
Okay, edge of the pasture. Very interesting photo, and a very strong focus there on the barbed wire and the grapevine going across it, and definitely a distinct edge to that pasture. And I like the background is blurred way out, with the exception of the horse. To me, it's just so overpowering to the picture that if you could have stepped back or used a different aperture to get the horse more in focus, I think it would have been a stronger image. Otherwise, my eyes are constantly going back to the blurry horse and shuffling back and forth. But I really like the concept and the idea. I think the implementation could be improved on a little bit, and that's my comment.
Okay. On the frozen lake.
Yeah, this one's mine as well. I really like this the photo. When the first time I looked at it, I couldn't really figure out where the focus was, so I had to dig deeper into the photo. I think the exposure is really, really good, and the contrast and everything, the shades, everything is wonderful. My comment would be that what I've noticed is that the beaks, because the geese, they look like they're right on each other. So I would move a little bit to the left and then take the photo to make sure that they don't overlap. And also the little shrubs in the back, there's a slight distraction, but other than that, the photo is really good.
Okay. Pink flamingo blast off. Bringing home the gizzard shad. Trillium. McKittrick Canyon, November 2022. Clouds roll in.
This one's mine. Really, really enjoyed this image. I congratulate the maker on the use of the shadow in the foreground to create a depth to the entire image. It's very Ansel Adams-esque, if you will, and I applaud you for your capabilities of doing this. The sky is magnificent. It's got a tremendous amount of tonal range to it. Same thing with the cliff face all the way through. It's excellent. If there was something that could be improved, might be the stone face to the far right side, take it down quarter stop-ish kind of thing, but that's it. Otherwise, I think it's a fantastic, it's not that distracting, by the way. It takes your eye all the way to the back of the picture. I think it's fantastic in that sense. So my hat's off to whomever made this picture. Congratulations. I think it's fantastic.
Okay. Peekaboo.
All right, this is mine. I really like the action in this photo, and it's different than what you normally see on the peacocks, and it's the colors just pop out at you. It's really beautiful from that aspect of it. The only two suggestions I would have, since it says peekaboo, I would really like to have a better view of the eyes of the peacock. And then I would like to remove some of the tree there. It takes up a third of the picture, and I don't really think that it adds that much value with just the blank tree over there. So I would crop it down a lot smaller and then try to wait for the bird to look at me if possible. But if not, then try to highlight the eyes a little bit more somehow. Other than that, it's just a dynamic picture.
The point of no return. Monarch on milkweed.
Okay, that one's mine as well. Again, congratulations to the maker. I don't think I've ever been able to count the hairs on a butterfly, much less see them. So on the screen that I'm looking at it right now, and the screen that I was looking at it on, and I did not blow it up, I could actually see hairs follicles or whatever they're called on the backside of the body. But the colors are extremely vibrant in this. I know nature can do things like this. I'm not sure if nature is quite that vibrant. I'm noticing that did the maker do a little bit of post-processing and try to make this into maybe a watercolor, but you know, it's got a little graininess, if you will, or pattern styling to some of it. The only other thing I would say is, what if you rotated the image 90 degrees clockwise? Puts the flowers in a different position, but puts the butterfly in the right position, or actually, do we care? You know? So it's just a silly question to ask, but that's what I got for that one.
Okay. Berry Springs, January of 2023. Take to the sky. All right. As long as my computer doesn't crash, let's see what the judges have to say. Judges' choices. All right, so in this one, we got first, second, third, and 5 honorable mentions. All right, first honorable mention, Arlie Pfeiffer, Lamppost.
Cool, that's a shot from Taylor. And we went
Ah.
out and did the photo walk. So, thank you.
Honorable mention, Travis Hanna, The Wizard. Is The Wizard on? Well, this is some cool stuff. This is some deep space astro. A rabbit hole I have not gone down yet. Honorable mention, Ty Lehman, Berry Springs. Take Off to the Sky. I think, is Ty on here?
I'm on here. I don't I don't know what to say in particular. It's just a yellow-rumped warbler, and I just got him right as he was taken off of the branch, and just thought it had some interesting action for such a little bird.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful shot, really.
Yeah.
We birders call them butterbutts for an obvious reason.
I like the minimalism. It's just the bird on a stick and nice creamy background.
What lens did you use?
I was using I was probably around 600 millimeter on the 200 to 600 with a Sony A7 IV.
All right. Honorable mention, William Ling, Ruffled Feathers. Is William on here?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
That is a red-shouldered hawk, and for a brief moment he landed and ruffled his feathers up like that, or ruffled his feathers, and looked like a completely different creature, like I've never seen before. Now it was on a perfectly blue, boring blue-white sky, so I did replace the sky, but that's the story.
I
Very
thought he
nice.
looked HDR. It's because you replaced the sky.
I do that frequently when it's just a plain sky. It makes a huge difference in the image, at least to me, and I'm doing it for me. So I like
It really does. That really stands out.
I try not to get anything too bold because I don't want the sky to be the subject. So I photograph skies that are, you know, kind of semi-boring, but have some action in them. So.
Yeah. All right. Another honorable mention, Karen Limbaugh, Sunset in Duck, North Carolina. Is Karen on here?
Gotta say that is just such a sharp image. And
Yeah.
the fact that they didn't blow out the sun very much. They've got the clouds, very close to it is technically really a tough thing to do.
Third place, Patrick. Thomas competition.
Yay. This this image it's taken with which one did I have? Probably my 24 to 70 f4 on my Nikon 7 Z7. This was a photo shoot that Precision Camera had put together with, I believe Canon was the sponsor. They had a handful of models, and this young man and I, at the end of the shoot, we were walking through, this is the ghost town out on 29 going towards Houston. And so he and I are walking through the little town, and at one point he goes, "Hey, let's go over to that building over there. I think it's pretty neat in there." And it was just this big open shell. So the light on his right side is a window. The light on the left side is actually the door that's probably 30 feet or 20 feet away. And yeah, I had to do some post-processing to pull it all out, but yes, it was there. It was a great shoot. I enjoyed it immensely. If you get a chance to do them, it's worth the money. So thank you very much for giving me third. I appreciate it.
Did you have a flash or is that natural lighting?
That's natural lighting.
Great shot.
So you must have had a window over on the other side too.
The window is on his or to the left side of the image, and the open door is an open double door, way over behind him on the other side, on the right hand side of the image.
Okay.
Yeah, so there, when you start to give, you look at the lighting ratios, it turned out to be a natural. I mean, it was just perfect. So
If you were to look up texture in the dictionary, you might see that picture.
yeah.
Yeah, really.
All right. Second place, Patrick again. Verde, Verde, Verde. I'm gonna guess this is Q2 Stadium. It
is. About 3 weeks ago, again, Precision set up a shoot. The guest photographer lecturer for that day was Joe Edelman, and his discussion, 2-hour or presentation, was on creativity. And basically, as Bill, you were talking about knowing the rules and then doing something with them. Well, he goes, yep, you need to know the rules so you can basically throw them out. And so I did with this image. So it worked out. There were models also, but the techie former engineer came out in me and I got this one instead. So.
Did you tilt the camera or did you do it post-processing?
In one of my images, I did tilt the camera. I think I did this one. I just rotated the crop and post-processing on this one.
So you could get the angles to go up to the corners, for example. That's the nice thing about this is the variety of greens. You're looking for a pattern there, and we often the composition people often say look for patterns. So that's beautiful the way you pulled that one off.
Yeah. The interesting thing was the Thursday night before, I think it was, we had kind of an open mic night at the club over at the church, and we were showing images to each other and yada yada yada. And Bill, you walked up and you put up these pictures of these PC boards with memory cells with no memory chips in them. And Carol was like, "Oh, the patterns." And I'm like, those are PC boards, you know? So it inspired me when I walked out into the stadium. By the way, when you go to these things, this was another precision camera one, if I hadn't mentioned it. And the only rule that we had was you cannot touch the grass, because if you touch the grass, then everybody left, not just you. So the 30 people there were very good about not going on the pitch. So, but thank you again.
And first place, Donna Smith, this bud's for you. I don't think Donna's here. But yeah, excellent image, cedar waxwing. I doubt it was lit from below with any lighting or anything. So
This is one of those images just with impact. Once you see it,
Yeah.
you have trouble taking your eyes off of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
waxwing seems to have that magical glow
Yeah.
to them, no matter what you take them with. It seems like.
Yeah.
okay.
This was one of my top on the judging. This was, matter of fact, I think it was, yeah, it was one of the top 3 for my judging thoughts on the numbers. So yeah, it is a lot of impact. Everything is just so sharp in this thing, but yet the background, the bokeh is just perfect. So.
All right. Now let's see what the people have to say. So the people say People's Choice Bronze, Karen, Sunset, and Duck, North Carolina. Silver goes to Patrick.
Cool.
And Donna again. Gold. This bud's for you. I think she's going to have to move up to advanced next year.
Now we want to keep her down there in the intermediate.
Oh, okay.
Good idea, Dennis.
Well, the intermediate's just advanced challenged. All right. So let's go roll on to the advanced class. For this one, we got 16 images. And we'll do the walkthrough. Yep. Whooping flight. Early blue bonnets. Black church. Little blue. Frozen. Leopard on the hunt. Soaking up the sun. Alone in the snow. African sunset. Rick. Galloping into the evening dust. Cement dunes. Alien growth. Winterberry blast. Juvenile crested caracara. Cowboy in felt hat. All right. So now we'll go through hopefully I'll choose the right one. Yeah. And I'll let you all read the critiques. Well, if they show up. That ain't it. Is this it? Nope. I need to relabel these. Judges selection. Is this it? Ah, there we go. I immediately focused on the eye of the crane. In this image, and the eye and beak are very sharp. I'll let you all read it. And these are critiqued and judged by PSA.
And Ty was asking earlier about what do judges have to work with. And so you can see at the top three, you have a choice of positive and negative comments. So they've chosen to stress that they really like the peak of action, good use of light sharpness. There are also some negative ones. So if they had, if they wanted to comment on a negative aspect of the photo, there are several they could choose. But then they have the elements down below, and they've marked them all in 90 or above, which on the scale, 90 or above is considered a extremely strong image with very few weaknesses, if I'm remembering that. But you can also rate it in the 60s, 70s, and 80s if you feel it's a lesser image and has more weak points. So that gives you a frame, Ty.
Black Church. Little Blue. frozen. Soaking up the sun. African sunset. Reich, Arizona cowboy. Galloping into the evening dust. Cement dunes. Winterberry blast. Cowboy in felt hat. All right. So let's see what the judge has to say.
So I have a question for Ed or Stephen.
Yeah.
Is the overall score the result of computation, or does the judge enter their overall score as they would?
The judge enters their overall score.
Okay,
Because
so
we
it's
don't,
not
we don't use the sliders.
the average or anything like that. Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
So basically, judges just need to go in there and basically put them in order. And like most of the PSJA judges, they'll start first 100, 99, 98, just to give it that definition.
So they need to have a good understanding of the what's a 70, what's an 80, what's a 90.
That doesn't really matter.
Well, I mean,
That's not taken into account.
is it not like a school score? I mean, 70 is above, it's average.
No.
80 is above average. 90
No.
is, no? Okay.
No, it's just ranked order. You just put them in order, first, second, third, and on down.
Okay.
And
Good.
most of the PSA judges, or when I judge, the one I like, I give 100. The next one I like, 99, 98, just so it basically puts them in order. It's basically going on the critique of the image.
Okay.
All right. Open theme advanced. All right. Honorable mention, Bill Bunton, Black Church. I bet you this was in Iceland.
In Iceland, I put quite a bit of time into working on it to get the mountains in the background to show. Just straight out of the camera, you can hardly see they're there. And careful to be sure nothing blocked up. And there was a flagpole in front of the church with no flag, and it just had to go.
Okay. And what was it? Sunny, warm, 90s?
Look at the snow. Actually, it was pretty nice.
Because I thought Iceland was green. Greenland is the one that's icy.
You're correct, but not green in March. I also went through and took out the big blurry snowflakes that were distracting.
Very well done. All right, third place, Lewis, Leopard on the Hunt. Very nice. Is Lewis here? I'm assuming this is probably in Africa, hopefully.
Lewis, you're on mute.
Yeah, this was in East Africa last year. I don't recall specifically Kenya or Tanzania. And we were watching this leopard for a while. He finally came out of the brush. This was in June, and it was supposed to be best time for the migration. But the downside is that the brush was very tall. I had been there previously in September when it was much easier to photograph animals on the ground. But this guy moved slowly enough that I could get him in pretty good detail.
Very nice. Still on my bucket list.
Strongly recommend it.
Yeah. Second place, Alan Irby, juvenile, crested caracara. Yay, Alan. I don't think he's on. And first place, Lewis. Again, African Sunset.
Same
Very
place.
nice.
Got fortunate. This was, I think we only had like 2 or 3 images, or I managed to snap 2 or 3 images before the clouds came in and the God beams went away. But you know, right place at the right time.
Very nice.
Thank you.
All
Do
right.
they play the theme song of, the Circle of Life in this picture?
The guide sometimes will hum it.
All right. So now let's see what the people have to say. People say bronze, Dennis soaking up the sun. I'm assuming this is a spoonbill.
Yeah, it's a spoonbill down in Port A, and he just happened to pop his wings. He was pruning himself, and he didn't look that good actually. And then all of a sudden, he just popped his wings up like that, and I caught a shot.
Silver, Lewis, African Sunset. Looks like the people and the judges agree. And last, well, gold medal, Lewis again, leopard on a hunt.
Beautiful shot.
Nice. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm not going to tell you how much of the brush I had to clone away.
Oh, I can imagine. All right. So, yeah, that's it.
Stephen, thank you for making this happen.
You're welcome. Sorry about the computer crash, and then it decided it wanted to update and do whatever. I tried to click on restart without updating, but there is no choice to restart without updating. So that's it. Anybody got any announcements? I know.
Well, can you stop sharing your screen?
Yeah, I could do that.
And then I wanted to invite Patrick if he knows more about the program that we're going to have in a couple of weeks. Or is it Bill?
It's Patrick and he's on mute.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Well, what I was going to say, it's before we go to
Sony.
that, it's Milky Way season. So for all you people that like shooting Milky Way, I know a few of us are going to go disappear somewhere out in the middle of nowhere next week for some Milky Way. But there's places to go around here. And yep. So Patrick.
Yeah, you're on mute. Can't hear
Mute,
you.
Patrick. Just use the space bar to talk.
Well, I did find a page on LinkedIn. He didn't have any portfolio to show landscape pictures, but he's the Sony Electronics Pro Imaging representative. And he promises, Patrick said he'll bring some equipment to show us. So it'll be a great meeting to come in person. If you have Sony equipment, and I wonder why it's so expensive.
Because they can.
I don't know why Patrick isn't off mute. You're muted.
I lost. Okay, so Stephen isn't the only one who had some technical difficulties.
Aha.
Jeez. Okay.
I'm
So-
rubbing off on somebody.
Yeah. Really. Stop that. Okay. So it's Van Nguyen. Van is the as Clay mentioned, he is the Sony professional. He happens to live in the neighborhood, which is excellent. And he will be presenting, and I'm pulling it up right now so that I can.
Landscape imaging,
No.
post-processing.
He's going to be doing. He has a talk that will. Why is this? Everything's being such a pain in the tush tonight. Okay, so he's going to be doing a talk on the basically it's the technology of the file, saving off a file and protecting your work. So it's a bit more than just. He's not going to be talking about how to use Photoshop at all.
Okay.
And so it's a very you caught me off guard, and I'm sitting here with egg on my face, and I'm just like trying to figure this out.
Well, more the reason for us to show up and.
I think you should just show up. Van's. I'll tell you what. Of all the people that I've had to get on board from outside the club, Van has been the easiest to deal with. I mean, I send him a note. He goes, "Yes, not a problem," and he sends me something right back. So it's just really great. Okay, so this guy, just to give you an idea of where he comes from, he's a 21-year Sony veteran. He's supported the Olympics, the FIFA World Cup, NFL Super Bowls. He's done the NCAA Final Fours, the Masters and PGA Championships, and other events and trade shows. Prior to being in his current role, he was the digital imaging national trainer for Sony. So just about anything you want to ask him about cameras in general, Sony in particular, he's going to have an answer for you. And so what he's going to do is he will be talking. Okay, so we are doing some landscape nature, but post-processing of landscape and nature photographs is what this seems to. Yeah, what he put in his last email. And he'll be bringing some of the newest, latest and greatest Sony camera gear for a little bit of show and tell. So, yeah, please show up. I mean, he's a local guy. He lives up in Cedar Park. And I'd really love for the club to support someone that's coming in with with this kind of background. This would be fantastic.
Do you know if he has a personal portfolio site or something where?
I will see if I can find it and get it out to the club.
Send it to Ed or myself, and we'll include it with the next email announcement.
Yeah. But I'm sure if you looked up Van Nguyen photographer, that it would probably be pretty easy to find.
Well, I tried, and I didn't. I found many others with similar names, but I couldn't. I was a little hard to identify exactly which ones are his. His LinkedIn profile doesn't include any pictures or anything. It just includes his resume of experience, no images. And it didn't say. I don't think it had a personal website. I would have found it, I think.
Oh. Okay.
Maybe he doesn't do that. I mean, maybe he concentrates on the Sony technical aspects of it. Maybe he's on the. I was wondering if he had a staff profile on Sony, but I didn't have time to look for that. So maybe he has one on the Sony site.
Yeah, I'll ask him. I'll check and see what I can find. He's got an Instagram site, van.van, the Sony man.
Wow. Okay, I didn't find that.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
I'm looking at it right now, and it's pictures of Van.
Oh, okay.
Oh, here I am. He's doing the typical, selfie kind of shot, and lots of these pictures. It's funny. So it's all about Van. It's not about his work, but it is that he's
personal
yeah.
things.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
but
All right.
oh, goodness.
Okay.
Okay.
And if you want to volunteer to be a judge for next month's competition, shoot me an email. Your name
you
will
could
get
be-
dropped in the
You could be
hat.
try. You could probably work a little bit behind the scenes if you're not sure exactly what's involved. You want to try it. Wouldn't you think so, Stephen?
Say that again.
Wouldn't it be possible for someone to kind of be a behind the scenes judge and try to see how it works out? I mean, if it just depends on somebody who wasn't sure whether they could do it or not. But
everybody here, I think, can do it. Clay, you've done it.
yeah,
Everybody
I've done
can
it
do
3
it.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
So
there's now that the deadline is April. What's the deadline, Ed? April 16, 21?
Yeah, I believe so.
yeah,
So it's coming up, and so you've
It's
got more
open.
time as a judge. The judges have more time. You have a week and a half or more to look through them
And
make your comments.
it's open. You could submit now. So
Okay.
if you
Angles
got your angles, arcs, circles, or triangles, drums and cymbals, whatever, you could submit them now. And yeah, this is, and everybody remember, this is a member run club, so it's all volunteers. So any help that we can get is greatly appreciated.
And the due date is midnight, tax day. So April 18th.
Yep.
Just looked it up on the website. So get your taxes done, get your pictures in.
Gotta get my
sir.
taxes done.
The deadline is April 16th, not the 18th.
I see 18th.
It says 18 on this website submission.
18th is Tuesday, and it's
18th is Tuesday. It's always on a Tuesday.
It'll be the 18th then.
Should be
check the
16
calendar.
Oops.
competition.
Yeah, that's a mistake on the website. I'll correct it.
Oh, give
It
us
is.
the 2 extra
It's
days.
always on a Tuesday, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should be
I've
the
got the wrong
18th.
date there.
Okay. No biggie.
Well, it is Tuesday, the 18th. So
Mhm.
Oh,
Does
yeah,
anybody
I'm
else
sorry.
got?
You're right.
Oh,
You're right. I'm sorry. It's the 18th. Yes.
Yeah. Anybody got any other things? I'll be teaching down at Precision Camera, April 29. Birds of Prey.
Oh,
So
is that the
keep it. Huh?
Mark, being
Mark's getting into it,
Either that or it's Star Trek Klingon bird of prey.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, does that wrap it up? Oh, I want to say real quick, Shelton Maltzer is still here. Shelton, if you'd like to unmute yourself, just say a word to all of us if you'd like about your photography interests. You're a new member.
Hey, hi, everybody. Thanks for letting me chime in. My first time sitting on one of these critiques, and it's pretty interesting. Looking forward to spending a little more time and actually seeing you guys in person when you have your next in-person meeting. I've been doing photography for about 10, 15 years now. Kind of got into it when I started doing overseas assignments. And realized that it's a big, big world out there. Right now, my focus is really on birds, and I'm actually participating right now in the Travis Audubon Birdathon, which is the month of April, all month of April. So busy doing birding and trying to do some backyard birding as well. So that's me in a nutshell. Looking forward to
You're
enjoying
among
the club.
friends, you're among your birds of a feather here. We've got quite a few avid birders. So yeah, we look forward to seeing your pictures. And
Okay.
have you contacted the that would be Stephen or any officer, I guess, well, particularly Stephen or Ed. You need to decide if you want to be in the basic, the intermediate, or advanced. And you can
Yeah,
always
so I did reach out, and I'm in the intermediate.
excellent. Excellent.
All right.
Thank
Anything
you.
else?
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you to all the judges. Fine work.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Ed, for making this happen.
Yes, thank you, Ed.
Sure. All right. Y'all have a good evening.
Take care.
Thank you.
Good night.
Night, everybody.
Night.
Right.